And now you can see the Backseat Mogul Show in all its video glory on our YouTube page at roughedge.tv.
Rough Edge FM at roughedgefm.com.
There's no better place for breakfast or lunch than Harbor Cove Cafe. This hidden treasure, located in the beautiful Ventura Harbor, is locally owned and operated and serves your favorites like hamburgers, sandwiches, and fish and chips, as well as island specialties like their delicious Loco Moco and famous Hawaiian burrito. Enjoy the magnificent view of Ventura's famous Two Trees and the Topa Topa Mountains while you sip on something from their full espresso bar, or perhaps tip back a cocktail mixed up by the legendary Dazu Prime. For more information, please visit online at harborcovecafe.net or give them a call at 805-658-1639. Harbor Cove Cafe, located at 1867 Spinnaker Drive in the Ventura Harbor. We'll see you there.
Showbiz is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs for no good reason. There's also a bad side.
This is the Backseat Mogul Show. Johnny. There, I fixed it. Sorry, your microphone needed to be muted. This is the Backseat Mogul Show live here on Rough Edge FM. I am R. Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is the show where we talk about show business. Sitting over there is Johnny D. I got it right this time.
You did it.
He's over that way.
Again.
He's actually over that way, but it doesn't make sense when I point that way and it's pointing away from him. So he's over that way.
Good morning. Okay.
That was hilarious. Hilarious. Oh. That's what you all tune in for. You tune in to see John try to be funny.
Try
is the best I can give you. So this week, as I promised you last week, I saw Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. And we saw it in IMAX at the Valencia Theater in, strangely enough, Valencia. Before I get started about the movie, though, I want to tell you a quick story. We walked in and they had a table set up for the St. Jude Charities. And I said, "Oh, what do you got here?" And she said, "Well, for $1 donation, you get to spin the wheel. And we have prizes ranging from a little tiny hard candies all the way to like keychains and bookmarks and small posters and large posters."
Big question.
Of course, he's got a question.
How many dollars did you pay to spin that wheel?
Well, if you'd let me finish the story, you'd find out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
So it was $1 to spin the wheel. So I paid her $1. And that's all I paid her, John, $1. Because I wasn't going to spin the wheel and get a little tiny candy. And, I would have. I'd been fine with that, but because it's about the charity. But I spun the wheel and I got big poster. Ooh, yes. So she goes, "Okay, well, come around here. Here's all the posters we have. We have this poster. We have that poster. We have this poster. We have that poster. We have Godzilla X Kong. Sold."
Oh,
got me Godzilla X Kong. So Josh gets up next, pays him $1. He spins the wheel. He gets your choice. He goes, "Well, I'll take a big poster." He wanders around. She's going, "We got this poster. We got that poster. We got this poster. We got that. Oh, we got Beekeeper." He goes, "Oh, I'll take that one." He goes, "Here, Dad. Now you have 2.
Nice.
So I got a Beekeeper and a Godzilla Kong poster for $2 to St. Jude's, which, by the way, is a great charity. So I'm, my $2 went a long way, I'm sure.
No,
it was
your $1. The other one was his $1.
That's true.
But
that's true.
You could say
$2 total.
$2 Bolton dollars.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Anyway, it was fun. But then, of course, what's the problem? You got to haul posters around with you all night, and the movie's almost 2.5 hours long. So, I'd be, every time somebody walked by me in the theater, I was hoping they weren't going to sit in my posters, but they didn't. So back to Furiosa. Furiosa is the prequel to the last Mad Max movie, Mad Max Fury Road, which still is probably the best movie I've seen in the last 10 years. Yeah, because it was 2015. I love Furiosa so much. It was such a just mind-blowing. But this is about, wait a minute. I love Fury Road so much. Did I say that? I also love Furiosa. So we'll just get that out of the way. If Fury Road is a 10 and it's bursting the 10 mark, it's much better than that even. Furiosa is a solid 8. And that's pretty good considering what's going on here. It's a story of Furiosa, who was the character that was played by Charlize Theron in Fury Road. And it's Anya Taylor-Joy in this version. And the reason for that is because it's a prequel. And actually, Anya Taylor-Joy doesn't even appear for about an hour into the movie. Really? There's another young girl, because she's a little girl, who plays the role of Furiosa in the beginning, because it shows how she's kidnapped, how she's held by this warlord who's played brilliantly by Chris Hemsworth. If science fiction movies got Oscars, they would give this man an Oscar. He is stunning in this. You see no Chris Hemsworth in this. You see no Thor in this. You see Dementus, which is what his character's name, and he is evil and overblown and hysterically funny and just amazing. But anyway, so the story is mostly about Dementus and how he's stolen her childhood, stole her mother from her, and when she finally escapes, which is interesting, through a trade that he doesn't want to make, but he has no choice but to make it, she sets her sights. She wants her revenge against Dementus, and boy, does she get it. Like the other Mad Max, and the best thing about it, not the best thing, I keep saying the best thing, but it's a good thing. This movie ends exactly where Fury Road begins. Nice. So you could watch Furiosa and then watch Fury Road, and they'd fit together like a puzzle. It's beautiful. The beauty of Furiosa is it is a Mad Max movie. So you've got incredible visuals, stunning costumes, amazing special effects. Some of the complaints have been there's too much CGI in this movie. Again, I know that everybody's leaning towards CGI because it's safer and you can do things with it you couldn't really do in the real world. For example, there's one scene where they get these hooks that they're lowering down because this motorcycle gang is chugging along trying to cause trouble, where they're lowering these hooks and yanking these guys off the bikes and all up, and then they go flying off. That'd be really difficult to do as a practical effect. And that's the other thing, is there's a couple of CGI effects that really don't work. You're like, yeah, no, that doesn't look real. Shouldn't happen in a Mad Max movie, especially a $170 million Mad Max movie. But again, it's twice, maybe it's fleeting. It's not a big deal. The chase scenes are just as epic. They're not as epic as Fury Road. Fury Road had they twisted your mind. They were so insane. They're still very good in this as well. And one of this is spoiler alert, so brace yourselves. Mad Max appears in the movie.
Really?
Yes. Now here's what he is. Remember in Fury Road that Furiosa doesn't have her arms like missing at the elbow. I think it's her right arm it's her left arm. Her left arm is gone in the movie.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
They show what happened to her there, so you know exactly what happened to Furiosa, how she lost her arm, and so that plays into that as well, into Fury Road as well. And what else was I going to say?
You're talking about Mad Max.
Mad Max's appearance. Thank you. Went right out of my head. Yes. So she's struggling across the desert, Furiosa, and you see her from the distance, and the camera floats up like a drone shot, and there's the last of the V8s parked there on the top of the hill, and Max is standing next to it. You can just tell by his costume, and the dog there as well.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. So anyway, there's a line in the movie where Dementus asks Furiosa, "Can you do it? Can you make it epic?" And George Miller has made it epic. This movie is stunning, especially on the IMAX screen. The vistas of the wasteland are incredible. The wasteland places like Gastown and Bullet Town, they're all just really incredibly well built. The action sequences are just mind-blowing, not just the chase scenes, but the fight scenes as well. It's 2.5 hours of just mind-blowing sci-fi action. And it's very sci-fi too. It's not like, you have like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Battlestar Galactica, maybe. The TV series. We're talking the original TV series. Was that really science fiction? Well, it was, but it's not like Isaac Asimov science fiction.
Mhm.
There's a little Isaac Asimov some hardcore science fiction going on in Furiosa, and it's really cool. It ends very well. I'm trying not to give anything away here, except for the fact that it segues perfectly into Mad Max Fury Road. But anyway, my whole point is go see this movie. It's not doing well at the box office. I don't understand it. You know, all year long we've been talking about what gets people in the movies. Well, here's a sequel to a movie that did very well, Fury Road. It's almost as good as Fury Road, and people aren't going. I don't get it. I don't know what the secret is. Of course, nobody else knows what the secret is either. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they went to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. At least they were. I'll have to check the box office on that. And you know, they went to a civil war, but here comes this fifth in a series of movies that were all successful and doesn't look like it's going to be. And that's too bad too, because it means it's probably going to be the last Mad Max movie until somebody decides to remake it for a budget that's a quarter of what this one was. And I don't know how you remake this movie and create those worlds with a smaller budget. I just don't know how it's done. Well,
it is showing at our corner theater.
Yep.
Which is the Buenaventura 6 Regency.
And if you have to see it there, that's fine. It's good enough. They have a good projection and sound there. I still recommend IMAX though, or the big screen down at the collection. What do they call that? XD at the Cinemark?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's called XD, but it's a big, nice screen like that. But at the IMAX, you've got this. It's almost curved around you. It's just brilliant. It's so great.
Which was the theater that we saw? The Oklahoma Killers of the Flower Moon. I can't remember what that theater is called.
That was the XD theater. That was a Cinemark, wasn't it?
Okay,
it was. Yeah, that was the XD theater. Yeah, I'm sure that's an XD theater. And XD is awesome. It's great. It's not quite IMAX, but it's still, if you want to see a movie like that, that's a big enough screen to see it on. And again, go see Furiosa on a smaller screen if you need to. Like John's talking about going to the Sixplex out here. It's as long as they've got good projection equipment and sound, it's fine. It's just better the bigger it gets. But anyway, everybody, please go see Furiosa because I want another Mad Max movie, and this one it's probably one of the best movies of the year. Yeah. I mean, we had Dune 2, and it's really hard to top Dune 2.
That was good,
and it really was. And I actually think I liked Furiosa better than Dune 2, but I understand that world more clearly than I do the Dune world, even though I read the book, which was I don't want to say a challenge, but it was more challenging than I expected it to be.
As far as I know, and I'm sure I'm wrong.
You are. Yeah. Let's just move on.
Is this the first movie that Chris Hemsworth has played a villain?
I don't know if it's the first one that he's played, but he was talking about that this week on morning television. And he said that he loved playing the villain because it gave him a chance to go places you can't go as a superhero. Mm-hmm. He said the thing about superheroes is you got to stay in a box. Mm-hmm. And, I guess Deadpool proves that wrong, but he said his case, the superheroes have to stay in a box. With a villain in a movie like this, he goes, you can go anywhere. And he does. One of the complaints I heard about the movie that I disagree with completely is the guy was talking about, because Hemsworth was under a lot of makeup, mm-hmm. and he's got this prosthetic nose. And this guy was saying the prosthetic nose was the different color than the rest of his face. And it just looked, every time you looked at it, it was obvious. And I'm thinking, don't you think that was intentional? They're in a wasteland where half the people have limbs missing or burn marks on their faces, or one guy's got a dart in his head that he's walking around with his dart sticking out of his head. Don't you think that was intent? Don't you think that they knew that this was going to be on this big giant screen and you'd see the difference? Of course they did. I'm certain that was intentional to show the damage from the wasteland. Mm-hmm. So that was a silly complaint. I do agree with the too much CGI, and as we've discussed, I don't mind CGI mm-hmm. as long as it's fluid, as long as it stays believable, real. Mm-hmm. And a couple times in this, it kicks you out a little bit. It's like, no, that didn't look too great. Other times, I will tell you though, that George Miller is such a terrific filmmaker. Sometimes you can't tell what's CGI and what's real. Yeah, because it's so. His view, his mind is so twisted and weird that every shot you look at, he meant it to look that way.
Well, his early Mad Max type movies, which we didn't have the CGI that we have today, with the making of Furiosa.
Right.
What he managed to do, what he had his stunt people do, was so awesome.
It was incredible, and
Yeah,
on a
and
super low budget.
without CGI. It's like, oh my God.
And the story I read just recently about that is that he wanted an American actor who was a star to play Max, so he could get American box office dollars. He was thinking, he didn't give any names, but I imagine he was thinking Kurt Russell or somebody like that, who was enough of a name to play Mad Max. But then he realized that would have blown his budget.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been able to do what he wanted to do. So they ended up hiring this Aussie, this guy, Mel Gibson, is that his name? Yeah, Mel Gibson. And I was really hoping that there would be a Mad Max cameo in Furiosa and that it would be Gibson. But again, what's the problem with that? Gibson's much too old.
Yeah.
They'd have to CGI his age, which apparently isn't a problem, because one of the things they did with the little girl who plays Furiosa is they merged her features with Anya Taylor-Joy's using AI, and so that she looks like Anya Taylor-Joy. I keep saying Joy, Anya Taylor-Joy. And you can't tell that it's CGI. You would never know that they had done that to that girl. But what did they have to do? They just had to make sure she had giant eyes like Anya Taylor-Joy does.
Now you mentioned that Chris Hemsworth, in that interview he did,
yes,
where he felt so good playing the villain.
Hey, I had a ball, he said.
You get out of that box.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember a movie he did called Extraction?
I do.
He was a good guy, but he was a good guy who was out of the box.
Yeah, he was a mercenary. He's kind of like Commando, the Schwarzenegger movie kind of thing.
But better.
No, nothing's better than Commando.
Oh, that's
you
true.
bite your tongue, sir.
Oh, okay.
Better. Come on.
No, I did like Commando. It was so good. It really was.
My son and I watch Commando every Thanksgiving.
Nice.
That's our Thanksgiving gift to each other. Time for Commando. Let's go.
But Extraction. Now, I've not seen Extraction 2. But
to be honest, I saw the first half hour of Extraction and turned it off. Not for any reason. I just haven't turned it back on. I need to go back to it and watch both of them, as a matter of fact.
I haven't seen the second one, but I really enjoyed the first one.
Yeah, it's an action movie. I love the action movie.
Oh, yeah.
Give me an action movie any day. All right. Anyway, moving on. Just please go see Furiosa. If Garfield beats Furiosa, it is a sin to cinema. And it might. It's that close out there right now. The box office is neck and neck. And Furiosa really deserves your box office dollar. It really does. You'll be thrilled that you did. The score gives me goosebumps. Oh, yeah. It's just so intense and in your face. Oh, it's a great movie. Again, it's not Fury Road. Going in, I knew it couldn't be Fury Road because nobody makes two Fury Roads back to back, even George Miller. Fury Road there's a lot of visuals in Fury Road that make your mind squirm because they're so bizarre and strange and futuristic and apocalyptic. There's that in this movie too, but not nearly as much. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Furiosa is great, and you should go see it. You too, and you over there, and you up there,
and me.
You'll get to it.
Yeah, okay. Do you know who did the score?
Tom I do. His name's Tom. Oh, I think I got it right here, as a matter of fact. Let's see. I need all cast and crew. Where's that at? Why don't they have that here for me? All cast and crew. Here we go. I do want to give him props because he deserves it. It was an outstanding score. Music is by Tom Holkenborg. Tom Holkenborg. And it's a brilliant score. What else has Tom done? I'm kind of curious. By the way, I do want to address one other thing. And John brought this up this morning before the show. Some people are upset because Charlize Theron isn't playing Furiosa again. Well, it's a prequel. So the only way they could have Charlize Theron play that part was to de-age her with CGI, which they didn't want to do. And apparently she didn't want to do. In an interview, she said, no, I understand. It's a prequel. They can't use me. I'm too old now. Mm-hmm. So if she understands that, you should understand that and just go with it. What else has Tom done? Tom's other scores include, Fury Road, strangely enough, Deadpool, Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and many more. So Godzilla Kong, the New Empire. This guy's pretty good. Because the Godzilla Kong score was a good one too. What else was I going to say? I was going to show you some pictures from Mad Max. I forgot to pull those up here. So let's do that real quick from Fury Road. One of the things I loved in this movie was Chris Hemsworth's chariot. Take a look at that, Johnny. He's got 3 motorcycles tied to a chariot, and he's got chains that go to their throttles, so they can take him through the desert. And now, is that a trike on that first one, or
that is, well, I would call it a trike, but the fact that he's got a motorcycle up front where you would find horses on a chariot, and then he's got 2 motorcycles, one on each side of the chariot itself. That's enough for me to want to go see this movie, just to see that.
Yeah, then there's a lot of that in here. With all of these, you'll geek out on the vehicles here. Here is Anya Taylor-Joy as Furiosa. You notice that she's got long hair in this scene. That's before something happens later when she has short hair. But we'll get to that another time. And finally, here's Chris Hemsworth. Now, if you didn't have his name next to him, would you have any idea that was Chris Hemsworth?
I got to see the picture. Oh, you're going from the poster.
Yeah.
Actually, I got to say,
don't lie. Do not lie.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
You can't.
I got to say yes, because in the scene in the movie where we had the fat Thor,
and
his hair was real long. When I saw that on Furiosa of him, I don't know why, that was the first character that he played where he had long hair, a beard, and was so out of shape.
I know you guys can't see it, the watchers right now, but that looks like Chris Hemsworth to you?
No, that picture, no.
Okay, that's an actual photo from the movie. But anyway, that chariot was a lot of fun, and Mad Max's Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, is a lot of fun. And unfortunately, unless the international box office kicks in, it's going to be the last Mad Max movie that we see, at least for a long time. Let's see if there's any box office update. I don't want to really look. I'm really sad that people aren't going to the movies. Really sad, but it is what it is. The top movies in 2024 are so far Dune Part 2, Godzilla Kong, Kung Fu Panda, Ghostbusters, and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Just for the record. And I'm really hoping that if nothing else, Furiosa will do well overseas and get some of that budget back. But so far, they said it's the worst Memorial Day weekend in 45 years. Not good.
Yeah. You said a comment how when you heard the music,
yes,
it just goosebumps. I know what you're talking about, because when I saw the movie, and you might remember this, it was released in 1992.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes. The Last of the Mohicans.
Oh yeah.
The music from that. Score. Oh, I got goosebumps on it. I've got that track, or not just that one song, but I've got that entire music score
by Trevor Jones and Randy Edelman.
Yes.
Both very terrific score writers.
And it's on, I believe I've got it on the same flash drive that I have a bunch of Williams music.
The master.
Yes.
John Williams is the master. That's a segment we could do on this show. Movie scores. Because I love movie scores. That's what I listen to when I write. I listen to movie scores. Or Tangerine Dream, who's done a lot of movie scores, but also done some other stuff as well. But yeah, I love movie scores. So maybe at some point we will incorporate that into this show. All right. So Monday is Memorial Day. And I thought we would talk about the top 10 Memorial Day best movies to watch on Memorial Day, which is on Monday. You're going to be driving, aren't you? You're going to be on the road by then? Remember when John said he wasn't going to be here last week? And I told you all, he will be.
I remember when I said I was going to be leaving before Thanksgiving last year.
That's true. So what are the odds this year? Let's discuss it. Are you going to be back next week, or are you definitely not going to be back next week?
Let's flip a coin.
That's what I thought. All right. So anyway, Monday you'll probably be on the road.
Yeah. Well, right now it's either going to be Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. And the reason why I may wait until Tuesday is because the Memorial Day traffic, people coming back from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad idea, as a matter of fact. Especially, they said this weekend is the biggest Memorial Day weekend, I think, in history. More people traveling than ever before this weekend. So I'm staying home. I'm going to Santa Paula to get some barbecue meat, but I'm staying home. So we'll see.
I tell you what, you know what I'm going to be getting when I get to Texas?
Crabs?
Oh no, I'm not going to visit that place. Brisket.
Brisket.
You
know, they have brisket here.
Texas style brisket. There's only been one place that I've been to that I really, really liked their brisket, and they went bye-bye. But with that being said, the new place that went in, and this is a few months ago, so I don't know if they're still there, their brisket was just as good.
I don't know that I know I've had brisket, but I don't remember having brisket.
It is just, once you've had brisket, you don't want to go back to tri-tip. Seriously. For me, it is that good. It's expensive. It takes a lot of prep.
Yeah, I'm out.
And, when it's smoked just right.
Brisket is a cut of meat from the breast or lower chest of beef or veal. Oh, I didn't know. I guess you can have veal brisket. I guess makes sense. The beef brisket is one of the 9 beef primal cuts. Primal cuts? Is that the right word?
I don't know. I didn't write it.
Sounds odd. though the definition of the cut differs internationally. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I honestly cannot remember ever having brisket. I know that I have, but I just can't remember it. All right, so moving on, the top 10 best Memorial Day movies according to Esquire magazine. We're just going to go through the list. We'll talk about a little bit if we have seen them, and we'll go on from there. Number 10 on the list is Greyhound, which was the Tom Hanks movie on, I believe it was on Apple TV.
And that irritates me because I missed it.
Why?
When it was in the theaters. I don't know why.
It was very briefly in the theaters. It was because it was made for Apple TV, and I think it might have even been pandemic time. But it's a very good movie. It's Tom Hanks. You really don't need to know a lot more than that. It's a submarine movie and submarine war movie combo. Well, let me read you what it's about. In Greyhound, the actor stars as Navy Commander Ernest Krause. During World War II, he's tasked with leading an Allied convoy across the Atlantic Ocean. Things get dicey when German boats catch on to their plan. To make matters worse, this is Krause's first wartime mission, which went down as the longest naval conflict in history. You may remember it as the Battle of the Atlantic. Greyhound is a very good movie.
Does it say what type of ship he was in command of?
Did you notice I just read the entire synopsis?
I know it,
but
mention it. I know it. So I don't know if it was a destroyer or destroyer escort.
I don't know.
I know it wasn't a battleship. It was probably a destroyer.
Okay.
Or it could have been.
And why is this
a
important?
Corvette. I don't know.
Why is this important?
For those out there who really like World War II Navy movies, they want to know.
Google is your friend.
Oh, but
number 9 on the list. Moving on is Glory from 1989.
Oh, great movie.
It is a great movie with a terrific performance by Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman. Glory, which is based on a true story, is an important history lesson. In the film, Colonel Robert Gould Shaw, played by Matthew Broderick, is assigned to command America's first black regiment. The crew includes Cabot Forbes, played by Carrie Elways, a junior officer, Tripp, Denzel Washington, a runaway slave, and John Rollins, who played by Morgan Freeman, a clever gravedigger. That is a very good movie and a very poignant, I'm not sure, intense movie.
Yes,
very intense movie, but especially with that cast. I mean, Denzel and Morgan.
I got to tell you that that scene where where somebody is getting whipped.
That's brutal. That is
brutal.
God, that was so brutal. Oh.
And you notice I didn't say who it was because I want you to get that movie and watch it.
I've seen it.
Not you.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Number 8 on the list, we have Saving Private Ryan.
Yes. Oh, such a great movie.
One of the greatest movies ever made. One of the biggest travesties in the Academy Awards history.
It was definitely robbed.
Well, Spielberg blames himself for that. he refused to send out screeners.
Mm-hmm.
Said if you want to go see Saving Private Ryan, you go see it in theaters. At the same time, Harvey Fierstein? No, what's his name?
Weinstein?
Yeah, Weinstein. Make sure I get that.
The guy that's
Harvey
in
Weinstein, that guy. He sent out hundreds of cassettes and DVDs of Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah.
And Shakespeare in Love won probably because of that, because more people and here's the thing. I don't think Shakespeare in Love is a bad picture. It's not. But Saving Private Ryan is one of the greatest movies ever made. Should definitely have won. And it was funny. Who won director that year?
I don't remember.
Steven Spielberg.
Oh, okay. For Private Ryan.
But he didn't get Best Picture.
And the cast. Oh my God. Such a great ensemble.
Incredible cast. Steven Spielberg directing. Brief interruption here. Steven Spielberg's new movie has been announced. It's going to be out May 10th, 2026, I believe. And it's a UFO movie. That's all we know about it so far. But anxious to see what Spielberg got up his sleeve, because the man he is a master as well. Saving Private Ryan, one of the greatest movies ever made. You need to see it when you get a chance. The number 7 on the list is the first one I don't remember seeing. It's called Devotion. Have you seen Devotion, Johnny?
No, I don't remember it.
Devotion tells the true story of Jesse Brown, the first black aviator in the U.S. Navy. He's the best of the best and has the skills to prove it. But when he's assigned to assist in the Korean War, Brown's leadership skills are put to the test. Can he complete the mission, protect his teammates, and make it home safely? You'll have to watch to find out.
Okay, big question. Read that part again where it says he's the first black aviator.
First black aviator in the U.S. Navy.
Oh, in the U.S. Navy. My bad. I didn't hear that part.
You didn't listen to that part.
That's
There's
true.
a difference.
Because I was going to say, well, wait a minute. What about the Tuskegee Airmen World War II?
You didn't.
But that
listen.
was not Navy.
You weren't listening. That's on Paramount Plus right now, by the way, if you want to check that out. I think I might. I have not seen that one. Number 6, The Thin Red Line.
God, another good movie.
Terrence Malick's film. Think of The Thin Red Line. Again, this is from Esquire magazine. I want to make sure they get credit. Think of The Thin Red Line as the film equivalent of eating your greens, a necessary nutrient for any cinephile. This war epic stars I did not remember that. Jim Caviezel as Private Witt, a U.S. Army member living on a tiny island in the South Pacific. Life is peaceful there. It's much quieter than America, which at that point is embedded in World War II. When Witt's hideout is discovered, he's forced to leave the island and join the American troops in training for the Battle of the Guadalcanal. Now, here's my story on this. I just bought that on DVD for $1 at the thrift store.
Nice. And it just dawned on me. I haven't seen this movie. I was getting it.
You haven't seen this?
No.
Oh.
I was getting it confused with a movie that had Lee Marvin in it that had Red in the title.
What was that movie?
I can't remember, but it was a good movie.
Big Red One.
Yeah, Big Red One. That's what I was thinking.
That's also a good movie. Yes, agreed. Thin Red Line, though, is Jim Caviezel. I did not know that.
Is it Caviezel or Caviezel?
I don't know. Jesus.
No.
That's what he played.
Well, yeah, he did. He did. That's good. No, yeah, this is a movie I'm very much interested in seeing.
And you can see that one now on Amazon Prime Video.
Oh, sweet.
Let's see what else we got here. We got number 5 in the list, I believe. MASH.
Great movie.
1970. And, MASH, of course, turned into the series. Here's the funny thing about MASH. And I don't know that this is 100% true, but it makes sense to me. It was a theory that Tom Spence had about MASH. MASH, the movie, is very different from MASH, the TV series. I should say MASH, the book, and then the movie is very different from MASH, the TV series. However, it wasn't always that way. Again, according to Tom's theory. He said that when MASH began, it was more like the movie, which means a little more real, a little more gritty, a little more, and then the ratings weren't good. So they said, well, let's try to pump it up to try to make it a little more funny. And of course, everybody in that television show had the wit of a genius, according to the writing. And when it became funnier, that's when it started to take off as a hit show and went on to become a very long running show.
And as far as I know, I don't know if I'm going to wait and let you finish what you're going to say about MASH before I decide whether I'm going to say what I want to say.
I'm going to read the synopsis, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Lighten the mood with MASH, a dark comedy. I guess that the movie's dark comedy certainly qualifies, about the medical unit of a U.S. encampment in the Korean War. Surgeons Hawkeye Pierce and Trapper John McIntyre make the best of their predicament with martini parties and incessant jokes. The film was such a hit that it spurred a hit TV show that ran for 11 seasons. You can see the series on Hulu. The movie is currently on Apple Plus TV. Now, what were you going to say?
There, as far as I know, there was only one actor who came from the movie to play in the TV series.
And that was?
That was...
Oh, it's Gary Berghoff, wasn't it?
Yes, who
That's
played
right.
Radar O'Reilly. And he was great in MASH, in the movie. And I got to admit, I thought he was great in the TV.
He was that character. He was such that character that I always thought they should do in a movie sometime, and somebody stole it and made it a meme. They didn't steal it. They had the same idea I had. But you always have those signs, speed check by radar. I always wanted to get a picture of Gary standing by that sign with a little clipboard. Not that been funny. And then somebody made an actual meme of that. But anyway.
That would be funny.
Next on the list, number 4 on the list for best movies to watch on Memorial Day is Black Hawk Down from 2001. Yep.
Again, I don't know why I never saw that movie.
That's you got to see Black Hawk Down.
I love
It's
these
so
kinds
good.
of movies.
Yeah, it's really,
And
really
I want
good.
to. I've seen little short clips from it. I definitely have to see this movie.
You really do. It's really good. Here's the synopsis, according to Esquire magazine. It's 1993. The U.S. Special Forces unit has been sent to Somalia to bring humanitarian aid to a starving population. Their mode of travel, Black Hawk helicopters. They expect a manageable mission, but plans change when Somalian forces shoot down 2 of the U.S. choppers. In order to survive, they have to regain control of their helicopters while evading a wave of gunfire. Truly great movie. Johnny, I cannot believe you haven't seen that.
I know. I think when this movie came out, I was working in the movie business myself. And, when you're doing almost all night long shots, it's hard. You don't want to go to the movie, then have to go to work all night.
John, this excuse is not holding water. This movie is it's
a great cast.
23 years old, and it's been all over television and everything else. So because you were working at the time it came out doesn't mean anything. Do not make excuses. Just go see it.
I will.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'll have to see it probably in front of my TV. But that's okay.
Yeah. Well, do they ever play that on those Flashback Thursday kind of things? Have you ever seen?
No, I have not.
It should be.
It might have, but I don't know what they have on tap for Memorial Day, if they have anything on tap.
We'll have to look that up some point.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Black Hawk Down is number 4. We're on the top 3 best movies to watch on Memorial Day, according to Esquire magazine. Moving up to number 3, we have The Five Bloods. Now, I have not seen this one.
I haven't either.
I believe it's a Spike Lee movie. Spike Lee, not a fan of the person, but sometimes he's a great director.
I agree.
I understand in this case he did this movie is very well directed. The Five Bloods follows 4 black veterans who return to their old battleground long after the Vietnam War in search of the remains of their deceased squad leader. Before he died, he buried a gold fortune with their help. Now it's up to them to find it.
Mm-hmm.
This is on Netflix. I believe it was made for Netflix, and I'm pretty sure this is the one that Spike Lee directed. So Spike, when he's on, man, he is on.
Well, I know he directed a movie with a black cast, but it's a World War II movie. Something about a saint.
Oh yes, that was another one I
can't remember what the name of that one was, but that was a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a really good Spike for me. I don't like Spike Lee. Some of his movies I have no use for, but this was a movie that I really liked, and I go, this guy did good.
Thankfully, Spike has made more good movies than he's made bad movies, but sometimes, it doesn't make it like everybody else. All right. Number 2. And this is the biggest one I disagree with in this, and I'll explain why. The Greatest Beer Run Ever. You see that one?
No.
Okay.
You would think I would have.
Here's the synopsis. In this, you have to see it to believe it film. Zac Efron stars as John Chicky Donahue, a plucky New Yorker with a dream of cracking a cold with his buddies in Vietnam. Cue a comedic journey across the seas, fit with heartwarming reunions and harsh truths. Best of all, The Greatest Beer Run Ever is based on a true story.
Wow.
Now, here's my problem with this movie. This guy, and I understand him, you know, he's at home and he wants to take his friends some beer. So he gets all this beer in a bag, basically, and he flies to Vietnam during the war.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts looking for his buddies who are scattered throughout Vietnam so he can crack a beer and talk with them. Sounds like it. Okay. You know, that's a very poignant story. That's a good story. But here's my problem with it. In the movie, he's so brain dead that he endangers almost every one of his friends trying to get them this beer because they're fighting a war. And all of a sudden, here's this guy showing up under gunfire to bring them. And now they got to protect him too.
Now you
Bothered
said
me. Both my wife and I, this guy's not very smart. He's not doing them any favors.
well, you said this was was it partially?
It is based on a true story, but of course it's not. The film version is not the true story.
Is there a book?
There is a book. Yeah.
Then which will, excuse me, which will probably tell you
the real story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, you know, I know it's a movie and they had to, maybe he wasn't, there's one scene where his buddy's out there having a gunfight with the Viet Cong and he runs out to where his buddy's shooting at him and getting shot at to tell him he's there to bring him a beer. Like, okay, first of all, it's stupid because you're going to get shot. Secondly, it's stupid because you're putting your buddy in danger and now he has to protect you. I didn't like that at all. That really bothered me about that movie. So I wouldn't recommend this movie, but you know, maybe it's to your liking. I don't know. Maybe you can look past that and that's okay if you can.
Well, you know, back in our early days of drinking, probably after we'd had a few, we'd probably try and run out there ourselves.
No, no, not going to happen. All right. Any guesses on what the number one best movie to watch on Memorial Day are according to Esquire magazine?
It could be The Longest Day, which was a great movie. Bridge Too Far, another really good movie. Of course, I'm thinking of World War II movies. No, I think it's going to be a movie about either World War I, or we might even go all the way back to the Revolutionary War.
And the number one movie is 1941 by Steven Spielberg. It's not. I made that up, but that's the movie that Steven Spielberg washes his hands of. And I do not know why. I love 1941. It's, you know, if it didn't come out as good as he thought it did, it's still a blast because it's so big. The cast is incredible, and it's Steven friggin' Spielberg.
I read something not too long ago where they wanted John Wayne to play the part of the character that
was in John
Elliot
Wayne's
Ness.
Crazy Years.
Elliot Ness, not Elliot Ness. He played in Elliot Ness. Who's the actor?
I'm not sure. Was it Robert Stack?
Yes.
Okay.
Who ended up playing that part.
And John Wayne wouldn't do it because he thought it was un-American.
Well,
no, don't make
felt like it made light.
That guy was losing it at that point. Don't laugh it off. It's something that needs to be said. I know John Wayne was a great actor, but he was losing it in his later years. He was real. All you have to do is listen to his commencement speech. You can find it online at some school where he went up there drunk and gave an acceptance speech that was as insulting as you can imagine. It happens, you know, but I just, people who put him up as this great American hero. Yeah. You know, maybe at one point he was an actor, folks.
See, in my book, I think the worst movie he ever did, and I believe he may have said this also, was where he played Genghis Khan.
Well, yeah, there's for lots of reasons, yeah, I get that.
I think the only reason he did it was a paycheck.
You know, he was supposed to be Dirty Harry at one point too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I did like the character he played in McHugh.
Yeah, I think that came because he didn't do Dirty Harry, so they came up with something doing that was kind of the same thing.
Hey, what's number one?
Before we get there, Big Jake. One of my favorite John Wayne movies. And it's not a great John Wayne movie, but it's just a load of fun. But I remember being dropped off to the theater. It might have been to see Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And they had a trailer for Big Jake before it. And the trailer was just guy after guy after guy getting shot. And I'm talking big bloody bag shots too. And then, Big Jake coming soon, rated G. Oh, times have changed dramatically.
Yeah.
Big Jake would not be a G these days.
I think one of my favorite John Wayne movies, and for me, it's hard for me to pick the number one, but one of my favorite John Wayne movies basically was a comedy, and that was, some people pronounce it McClintock.
McClintock.
I always pronounced it McClintock.
Who pronounces it McClintock?
I've heard people call it that, in reviews, when people start talking about different movies.
I can't even imagine.
Actually, that. I think one of the characters in the movie refers to him as McClintock.
Well, that might be a clue.
Maybe
that might be a clue. Maybe that's sometimes, it's like my favorite shoes that I wear are what I always called my Teva sandals. They're not Tevas. They're Tevas. I just found that out.
Well, that's like kind of saying, I need that Xerox, and it's a Canon copy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's not the same at all, but I know what you're saying. I mean, I just was mispronouncing Tevas.
Right.
Because I thought it was Tevas.
Well, Jake Gyllenhaal, and I'm still hearing people pronounce
Gyllenhaal. And he says that's okay, because he knows that Gyllenhaal is hard to pronounce. And also, a lot of times people go, well, who's Jake Gyllenhaal? Gyllenhaal. Oh, okay.
Number one.
Before we go on to the John Wayne thing, I do love John Wayne movies, and I love John Wayne as an actor, but I just think it's you got to take some of the bloom off that. People who think of him as a god need to realize there was a human side there as well. That's all I'm saying.
Good old Marion Morrison.
I don't mean to diss John Wayne, but I just want people to be aware that he wasn't this shining example of patriotism for his whole life. There was some edge there that needed to be shown. All right. The number one best Memorial Day movie to watch. Nope.
Wait a minute.
Let me rephrase. Please don't do that.
It's a drum roll.
The number one best movie to watch on Memorial Day, according to Esquire magazine, is Top Gun Maverick. And we really don't need to talk much about Top Gun Maverick, but I will say that, you know what? I could watch that movie again.
Oh yeah.
A number of times.
What would be fun if you had the time and your butt doesn't fall asleep is to watch back to back Top Gun and then Top Gun Maverick.
It would. Yes. And there's been rumors floating that Top Gun 3 is in the works without Tom Cruise.
Oh,
so
why?
Good luck. That's all I'm going to say. Good luck.
Yeah.
That's like doing Hellboy without Ron Perlman.
Exactly.
Good luck.
I mean, I honestly can't remember if I saw that Hellboy or not. The one without him.
David Harbour, the thing is that the biggest concern was, first of all, can David Harbour do what Ron Perlman did? And he does. He's a decent Hellboy. That's not the problem. The problem is the movie is murky. The story is all over the place. It wasn't fun. The other Hellboy movies, both of them are really fun. And that one's not. It's just bad. And I felt bad for him, but I also was kind of glad because everybody knows the story now, because I've told it here many times, that Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman went to the studio. Hey, we got an idea for a new Hellboy movie. They pitched their movie, and the studio goes, nah, we got a better idea. We're going to go with somebody else. How'd that work out for you? Not much good at all. All right. So anyway, those are the top 10 best movies to watch on Memorial Day. I would also recommend 1941. I think I'm going to watch 1941 again this week because I haven't seen it in a long time. And like I said, I love that movie.
It was
even
so
though
funny.
It's got some funny moments. It's got some moments that don't work, but just watching that cast, watching Belushi, watching Aykroyd, watching Slim Pickens, it just goes on and on. And by the way, that's one of the things I taped this week.
Wait a minute. Who's the last name you said?
Slim Pickens?
Hollywood. That was a line from the movie.
That has nothing to do with Slim Pickens.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
When Slim Pickens was captured by the Japanese.
Yeah.
One of the Japanese.
No. That was when Susan Backline, who recently passed away, she was the first woman to get eaten in Jaws. She was, as a parody of his own movie, the submarine came rising out of the water after she was out skinny dipping, and she got hung up on the
I remember
periscope.
that. I remember that.
And as she rises up on the periscope,
That's
the
right,
Japanese
that's
person opens the lid opens the hatch and looks up and Hollywood. Yeah.
Hollywood.
So, no, it had nothing to do with Slim Pickens, you weirdo.
Well, they eventually get him.
Nothing to do with Slim Pickens, but that's okay.
But his scenes in that submarine were so funny.
They were dropping his shoes in the toilet. Oh God, that movie's just wild. I saw that movie many times at the Cinerama Dome because it was playing down there when we were going to pick up checks for the theater every week. And every week we'd go over to the Cinerama Dome and watch 20 minutes of a movie until our checks were ready. And we'd get, but it was great. It was, Stephen, don't be ashamed of 1941. It's not your worst movie.
It was a fun movie. And again, great cast.
And I know Steve, to his friends, listens and watches now the Backseat Mogul show. So it's don't fret about.
And speaking of Steven Spielberg, Steven, please go to Amazon.com and Amazon search R. Scott Bolton books. Take any one of them and make a movie out of it, especially if you did Dead Dick. Oh, fantastic.
Spielberg would be great for that movie. That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. And the latest R. Scott Bolton book that's available, they're all available, but the latest that's available that I know of is
Here, I'll give you a clue.
Wait. No, I got it.
There's a clue on screen.
No, I'm not going to look. Dadgummit, I just had it. Let's see. Death in the Mogul.
Nobody saw you look at the screen there, Johnny. That's okay. Yes.
Death in the Mogul, great book.
And I just got my first review of Bowling Bag in the Backseat.
Wait, what?
My first review of Bowling Bag in the Backseat. You're not the only alpha reader out there, Johnny.
I haven't got it yet.
I know, because I have the printers. Everybody else will read it on the screens. So
traditional.
Anyway, good reviews, got some good points, saved me some very embarrassing errors.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Joe Lopiano, for that. He had some good suggestions, and I'm going to take those to heart and do a little retooling on it. But I was going to put a copy in a flash drive, bring it out here, and then have you follow me to a printing shop and print it up for you so you could take it with you for your trip. But I didn't. I forgot the flash drive, so doesn't matter.
It sounds like me.
So let me know when you're going to leave, because maybe we'll get it to you before you get out of here. So
right now, my plan, if I can get the transcooler installed, I may have to go with the stock transcooler that's already on it. But I'm either going to leave Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. More than likely, it's going to be Tuesday, which will put me in Dallas Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll be in Dallas by Friday.
Okay.
Maybe
so
Thursday.
If I can get a printed copy to you by then that's what we'll do. Yeah. Okay. So we'll work on that. And
it's something I can work on while I'm gone.
By the way, excuse me for a minute, folks, while I play with these screen things. I want to try this out and see what I have a number of different layouts for the StreamYard, and I've never really played with them. You might have noticed a few seconds ago I did, but so I'm going to just jump through them real quick. So this one's the solo layout, which makes whoever I guess is chosen, the whole picture. Here's the exploded dual thing. I should have probably looked these titles up first, huh? This is the cropped layout, so you can see it expands and makes John and I bigger, which nobody wants. Here's the one we usually use, which is the group layout, which shows us both sitting here, and we can put things behind us if we so choose. This is the one that makes one person the main focus, another person like smaller, of course. This one is the same thing, but I think you can actually put like a video or something there. That's the same thing, basically. That's the same thing, and that's the same thing. So I think we're going to stick with this one. This one's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
But yeah, let's leave some space there.
Actually, go back to the blow up.
We'll close the show out with this one.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, I got my Ray Donovan hat on.
I got my. It's my
flag hat on.
It's faded. I've had this hat for a while, as you can see from the. But
was that color ones?
No, it was this type of camo, but the colors were brighter.
No, I mean the flag.
Oh, yeah, it was camoed flag.
So it's okay. It was okay.
I mean, you can see very light red, but it was always a very light red. It wasn't a in your face type colors.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, folks. Again, please go see Furiosa. It is one of the very best movies of the year. It is a stunning achievement in apocalyptic film. Real close to Dune 2, in my opinion, for quality. Again, it's not Fury Road. Nobody should expect Fury Road twice back to back, because Fury Road is there's just something about that movie that's stunning.
I just had a great I can't say that word.
Idea.
Okay, that'll work. Steven, Mr. Spielberg, if you're not interested in doing Dead Dick, how about you, Mr. Miller, because I know you're listening to our show as well, doing it? Can you imagine Miller doing that with the chasing?
It is a chase movie.
Yeah.
So, and
it's not just a chase movie. It's being chased by demons.
Yeah, that George Miller would be okay too. Either one of you guys, feel free to give me a call, and we'll discuss the rights, and I promise I'll make them cheap just to see the movie made.
And I said earlier, all of the R. Scott Bolton books are available on Amazon.com, and you have Amazon Prime, you're going to get free delivery.
And for more information, you can just go to rscottbolton.com. It's that easy, folks. It's right there in front of you. R. Scott Bolton.
I got it in.
All right. So I will see you next week, next Saturday. Johnny will probably be here too. And, and we'll talk about whatever else is going on, but, keeping my fingers crossed that Furiosa is doing well overseas, because I really would like to see another Mad Max movie. There's just nothing like him. George Miller is just an amazing filmmaker. And with that, we'll see you next week.
Hey, take care. Bye. See you when I'm back.
Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.